Alright. I mean, I'm a little early as far as, like, that goes, but, as far as actually transferring over, because, actually, in both cases, both music-wise and, as far as, like, time goes. Let me actually set my drink up. I also need to get you guys your music. I also need to change this. Because that's no longer the most recent. Bop. Bop. It's still quite warm, so you will hear my fans when I talk. However, it's cool enough that I can actually stream today. I also got good news. In kinda two regards, I guess. I mean, they're both related to the PC situation, but it's two bits of good news. Firstly, I got the right actual case and the computer that is going to be used for case and memory, actually, is what it's going to wind up being. I originally thought it was going to be power supply, but apparently my records are wrong. My records are wrong in two regards, honestly. Which has me very confused as to if Amazon changed the listings and for some reason they just changed for me as well. Which is a very interesting thing to happen, and I didn't know that was a thing that could happen. I guess it's not the only time that has happened, but normally they remove the listing and then list something else. And it might have, like, overlap in name. Because the big one is for, like, my tablet here. Since my tablet is a 13.3, and then they did a second model of the 13.3 for XP Pen. That's the only time that I've known of that happening, so I'm wondering, like, why it happened that way for this. Not that I'm complaining, because I don't really like the tempered glass, aside from peeling the plastic. I don't like tempered glass on my PCs that much. I guess I'm a little old-fashioned in that way. I mean, I know why the bias happened. It's because a lot of tempered glass things want to have tempered glass in the front. For some reason. Or a solid sheet metal in the front. Which doesn't seem great for airflow from the front. But I don't know. I don't opt for those because, not because of the airflow, but because I prefer to have a disk tray. But thanks to desktop, I still feel bad that, like, desktop's sending all this money and all these parts and whatnot because we're on Plan C, but, like, thanks to desktop, he sent me enough money to get a power supply that he recommended, and it's 700 watts. I was going for 650 watts, 700 watts. I'm not complaining. It's an increase from what I was going for, so hopefully that'll work. The only thing we're really missing is GPU right now. Which I'll probably take my 1060 out of my current PC. Either way. So that should be coming in Friday. I don't have D&D this week because Teber's unavailable. So either Saturday or Sunday, I'll likely have it. So by Monday, we should be on new PC. Which we should see a notable uptick, because I believe I looked it up, and the CPU, which is my bottleneck, is... Shit, I lost my train of thought. It's like a 32% increase, I believe. Which may wind up translating to a, like, 50-something% increase, because... I'm gonna be honest, I think that there's something wrong with the CPU that we have that we wound up getting, like, for this. It was a refurbished one, so it might have had a few quirks to it. But at the very least, that means that we should have ourselves a notable improvement. We're not going to be playing like Battlefield 6 or Monster Hunter Wilds, probably. But I won't have to worry about, like, monthly cascade fails and a quarter of my CPU being taken up by OBS. Because it is a quarter of my CPU being taken up by OBS still. Even despite all of this, it's not 50% since I reinstalled OBS, but it is still a quarter. And it means that we might actually be able to play some games like Peak and whatnot again. I can slop it up with my friends. I'm not a huge fan of the term friend slop as like just the term for 4-player multiplayer game. I don't know though when, you know, the GPU angle of things will be solved. By that I mean when like actual new GPU will come along. I have no idea what Tepper's thoughts are on that, plans or anything like that. I kind of want to skip that right now. I don't know. I'm not feeling Ghost Rule right now. Hound of Aubergine, though, I'm always down for. But yeah, actual good news. For the first time in a hot minute. I don't even remember when we got the freaking motherboard and CPU courtesy of desktop. Actually, I should still have my emails from when they were delivered. This is my wrong email. This is my email tied to my Amazon account. Can I switch to my business email? No way. I'm live on my channel? It ain't so. Really? I didn't realize how many emails I'd gotten over the past couple days, because that's my makeshift and stuff, which I know I got, my Fleshling plush on Fleshy's birthday. Key mailer. Also key mailer. It was past this, right? Where's Throne? Dreamlabs, Makeship, Novel Horizons. Maybe it's been longer than I thought. Throne. Shipped. Delivered on July 25th. So it has been... nearly 3 weeks. Nearly a month gap in that. I didn't realize how long I'd been waiting for this PC to come in. Also of note, I was kind of surprised earlier today. Because I looked into... Because I uploaded a new video today. And it's not nearly as drama bait as the other two that I have uploaded. So it's still in third place, but it's not performed nearly as well. But I saw my top videos and saw the stream from the other day. I think this was Monday's stream, wasn't it? It's super hot, so we chillin'. Is like my top video from the past 48 hours. Yeah, that was Monday's stream. And I was like, why the fuck? Does it have 77 views? I have no idea, like, any of the times or anything as to, like, how long people actually watched it, but I was kind of surprised. Because that means it was engaged viewers, according to YouTube. The Stardew one from, like... over a week ago makes sense, because it was my first time doing that. And people like Stardew, and, like, I had several people come in while I was doing that. That makes sense. What even is the freaking image that I used for this? Ah. Right. July 24th, 2025. I have no idea how else to title today that properly describes how this week's topics have been, because that was right after the V-Shoujo thing happened. But yeah. I was surprised at that. I'm also a bit surprised... Oh, no, I want to actually listen to this. About, YouTube's, like, little inspiration tab, which gives you, like, ideas on videos to do. And last time I looked, it was, like, absolute dog shit, right? It just took random words from, like, my various, videos around the time. So it had, like, the political landscape of Syncope's Living Crystals, deep dive into Syncope's metro system, fucking... I forget what the third one was that I mentioned. But, like, earlier today, I looked, because I accidentally tapped on it again. And, like, there were some okay ideas. The titles are dog shit. But, like, the topics are not, like, awful. Like, my deepest thoughts on fictional world-building flaws, I hate the fucking title. That makes me sound like a pretentious asshole if I ever put that. And if I ever put a title like that, where it makes me sound like I'm freaking doing a smart as fuck freaking holier than thou my freaking stance on this, unsubscribe from me. Unfollow me. Cancel me. That's awful. But a critique on world building tropes. Or like mistakes that a lot of people make is not a bad idea. Why fictional character voices impact your brain. I don't... The idea is not bad. Because it will, like, the way people speak and whatnot definitely has, like, an effect on how you perceive them, especially fictional characters, because it is, like, cadence and inflection is, like, a major part of how they're written. I think that this one might be monkey on typewriter one more like the previous ones were, just because I freaking talk about voice acting stuff semi-frequently. How live service games change storytelling is actually an okay title as well. And it's not a bad idea, because there's a big difference in, like, how stories are told in like take what's a game that has both live service and like a standard... Oh my god, my phone is on fire. Not literally, but it is way too fucking hot. I wonder if my freaking tea will boil while I set it on it. But where was I? I don't even know what examples to use for, like, things that have... Like, live service, the way that live service handles storytelling. Destiny is what comes to mind for that. And, like, the best example I can think of for how a standard game does is, like, something like Fallout New Vegas. So, the logic that comes to mind is, like, Fallout 76 versus Fallout... Any of the others? I don't know exactly the best way to think about, like, Destiny, because Destiny's in a really weird spot. I'd have to do, like, a triple comparison, right? I'd go for, like, a linear game. Linear, in quotes. You basically have to use RPGs for that. For, like, live service game storytelling, because, like... MMOs are kind of the primary ones that wind up doing storytelling along with the live service. Like, I don't think Fortnite has a story to it, like the Battle Royale version of it. So I don't know. I don't think it's changed storytelling overall. But the title does kind of, like, work for the idea of... They do it in a different way. And depending on who's doing it, they're done in different ways. Destiny scraped off, like, the entire first third of its story. But RuneScape allows you to, like, do things in different orders, which people have complained about, admittedly. Because there are certain things that talk about previous things that have happened, But those previous things that have happened are exclusive to member stuff. And the current things that you're able to do as a free player are associated with that, and you can't. So you have no idea, like, what the context is for certain things happening, what gods are alive or dead at any point in time, if you're doing, like, old content. Because there's 3 eras, I think, in it. Or is there 4 eras? There's a lot of eras. The point is that, like, obviously there's a lot more stuff that has to go into thinking about this shit than, or like trying to make it all be cohesive to players that are new, just as well as people that have been there since like 2 decades ago. Good lord, even putting my freaking cold tea on this does not freaking... I really need a new phone. My phone is not in a good position. I mean, it'll probably be better once it's not like 800 fucking degrees and it can actually just vent excess heat, like me, but still. Dangers of active camo unveiling the game is, I think, also Monkey Typewriter. It just took my short, the title of that one short, and then like tried to make an idea for tried to make a video idea for it. But it's not a bad idea. I don't know exactly how well I'd be able to look into it because I don't know many games that have active camo. And then I'd also probably mentally want to do a more storytelling angle from it rather than, or like world building angle, rather than how it's normally used in games, which varies heavily. God, my freaking phone is like so goddamn hot right now. I might need to freaking go and grab another drink just so I can freaking set it on this so it can freaking like act as a cooling unit. But they're not like bad ideas, which is a stark contrast from before. And then I had one where it's like, hey, remember how you used to do Ruby content? Why don't you do this? And I'm like, nah. Because I don't know anything about what's going on in the universe at this point. And I really don't feel like doing, what is it, 4 more seasons of research and suffering through, at times, absolute dog shit writing in order to get a little bit of extra info for whatever the heck it's doing. Like, is there like a development? Was my theory correct way back when? Crow Semblance and Ruby's Bad Luck Birth? Or is it taking the fact that I freaking said that the only theory I have regarding them is if Crow is Ruby's real dad? That might be what it's going off of, is that theory. Between Crow's semblance and Ruby's rumored bad luck birth is explored. I don't know. The monkey typewriter made me think that it actually knew something about it with the one that it gave me earlier. In regards to that, this one does not seem like it works unless my theory was correct, which who fucking knows? Even the people that I'm friends with that watched it don't watch it anymore. Even Eric gave up on it finally. Because it just spins its tires at this point because it's a cash cow. These ones aren't that great. Unveiling Paradox of Ancient Mythology's Influence. I mean, I guess. But at that point, just read Wikipedia article on and see the section that says influences on media. Or whatever the fuck that section's normally called. Top 3 current game obsessions. No one gives a shit. I also don't really have any current obsessions. I have games that I have the itch to play, but I don't have any obsessions. Like, I mean, I messaged Tebra last night because while I was working on the Shino art, I ran into a dude that did a lot of Gears of War lore videos because they were long form. Also, I must say, they also did freaking lore videos on a few other games. Like, the Red Dead ones were interesting looking. I didn't watch them, but I saw that they existed, and they seemed interesting enough. There was one that was like a 30-minute video on Abby from Last of Us, and I immediately went, I don't give a fuck. Mentally. Because, I don't know, I feel like 90% of the writing in Last of Us 2 is dog shit. And it's so dog shit that when they went to redo it in the TV series, everyone stopped giving a fuck. So that's interesting. I don't know. I feel like... Also, I mean, I feel like freaking lore has like a duality for me. Currently, they seem to be going through Rockstar games in general. Got Roman. Okay, well, these are kind of split up. These are GTA 4. This is Mafia 3, I think? Four-hour video on freaking... I don't know. Yeah, it's a 30-minute video on Abby, and I can't give my... I can't care. I think that the entire way that that story was handled was shit. Either way, going back through the inspirations tab here right now. Metro Lore, Reich's 2035 Collapse, and Armored Trains. Armored Trains could theoretically be kind of interesting due to the dynamic that they cause. I don't... Did they freaking fall in 2035? I didn't read 2035 yet. Do I even have 2035? Wait, no. 2035 is actually Last Light's story. I forgot, because 2034 is like a collection of stories from different different stations. I don't know. What if demigods played competitive chess? That is certainly an idea. I think that one's a bad one. Because a lot of demigods don't... Like, the idea behind them is that they are ideas of what if we gave a human godlike powers, and then an exploration on, like, what they would do. Rarely are they strategic. I think that the only one that has, like, notable strategy is, well, Athena's daughter. I think Athena had a daughter. So, I think that Athena's daughter was just playing a god. I don't think Athena was like fucking Zeus, where he couldn't keep his dick in his freaking skirt. Toga. I want to know if this has been added yet, though, is the thing. When is this being implemented? I'm looking back at the thing where they said that shared chat could be on mobile. Which is a good idea. When is it getting implemented? I don't know. I don't know if that's been implemented or if it's going to be implemented or when it's going to be implemented. I just know that my phone is probably going to light on fire freaking whenever it does. Let me... Oh, okay. Apparently it's sort of fixed. My phone starts to overheat just opening Twitter, though, so who knows how long that'll last. I should probably crack it open and see if there's, like, a problem with, if there's, like, dirt and dust and whatnot inside the case that might be causing it to heat up more than it should. Because honestly, this is insanity as to how freaking quick it starts to overheat. I mean, it starts to overheat me scrolling Twitter, is how bad it is. Oh, also another thing that I've been really deep into is Fallout lore. I was watching a lot of that while I think I was working on the line work for the commission. Because I haven't done... Kraka, I know I did the artwork on stream, so... I wasn't watching anything for that. And when I was doing the sketch for that, I was watching Wendigoon's coverage of the three Christs. So it had to be while I was working on line work for commission. Which is kind of part of my plan for tonight. Since I uploaded the video this morning, I'm probably not going to do video stuff tonight. Unless I really have a good idea as to something I want to do, but the only thing I have is a longer form video, which is on the Tinkerer clans. But I don't think... I mean, I don't think, but like, I don't think that I'm going to work on anything short form, which is kind of bad for, like, my TikTok presence, but the last video I did on there has gotten 0 views at all. And I'm pretty sure it just got age restricted because it's literally just me freaking talking about the, the host of, no, it's the Monster Girl Encyclopedia one. The one about the Game Awards host sucking Kojima's dick did well. I think they just tagged Monster Girl Encyclopedia on it, and then we're like, this is age restricted, fuck you. Which I guess fair, but still. But yeah, I've been going through a bunch of lore videos recently as my like background noise for working on stuff. And it really... going through the Gears of War ones, which is... these are like hour-plus long videos each, so I'm probably never going to watch them on stream. Unless I decide I don't want to listen to music while I'm working, so we're going to have those on in the background. Because, like... This is an hour 13. One of the videos I watched yesterday was an hour long. This is an hour and 15 minutes long. This is an hour and a half. This is an hour and a half. This is 58 minutes. This one's only 30 minutes, but I watched it. This is 55 minutes. As opposed to the Fallout ones, which are like, this one's 25 minutes. This is a list video, so it's 42 minutes, but like 16 minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes because it's the entire history of the Enclave, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. These aren't, like, bad. It's not like, well, here, freaking Epic Nate, where it's like, vague thing, let me make a 2-hour video on something that can be explained in 20 minutes. And his cadence is so goddamn artificial that I freaking can't watch his stuff. Like, good on him for freaking doing well, but like, I cannot watch his stuff. I've realized that I can't anymore. I used to watch his stuff quite often. But I don't know, something about, like, some shifts I freaking just stopped being able to watch. Because at this point, if I freaking, I'll, like, see a video and I'll be like, that sounds interesting. I'll look at the length of it and I'm like, okay, I guess that'd be background noise, and half the time I'll see the name and be like, no, I don't really want to. Other times I click on it because I see an interesting title and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And then I hear his voice and I'm like, ah, something that could be explained in 20 minutes. This is going to take me 2 hours because you want to freaking tangent about... You want to tangent like it's a fucking stream. It's one thing if you're telling me the entire history of something, it's another thing when you're saying, there's this deep, dark secret about this thing. And then you go and touch on every faction that's ever interacted with them. X, Y, and Z, they're freaking... I don't know. I just don't enjoy his content anymore. We're about 5 minutes out from ad break. I am going to hit ad break a tad early so that I can get myself refill on my tea. And also use it as a freaking eat sync on my phone. Thanks, Sari. Pop back over to this. Oh, good. My payment for freaking the PSU just came out, so that means that we're golden. We are confirmed that we're going to have our power supply soon-ish. I guess that if we have our power supply by Friday, that means that I should probably, you know, work on finishing up Deponia Doomsday this weekend. Like tomorrow or something, try and finish up Deponia Doomsday. Yeah, my phone is not having it. Either way. So maybe we'll do Deponia tomorrow. For the actual stream. I do kind of want to get that done before I transfer over because I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to keep my E drive in the transfer because it's still corrupting files. I also kind of need to lower the number of things that are in there in general. Or I need to uninstall a few things that are hanging around. Not too bad now that the heat's actually gone down. Can I delete this? Okay, good, I can. Hopefully actually going to have new PC sorted out by Monday. Considering all of my stuff came in, or the other PC that I'm using as a surrogate came in. Had to get a new PSU because something was wrong in regards to everything. That's coming in Friday, which means that tomorrow's probably going to be Deponia, so that I can finish that up so I don't have to worry about that. And I also need to freaking clean up more files off my E drive here. I also need to clean out files in my freaking G drive because it's very consumed. Did I uninstall I? Maybe on Friday we do a quick jog. Or try to do a quick jog. And see if we can do that on current PC. And see if, you know, energy consumption, or not energy consumption, but like CPU consumption was what was stopping it. As like a send-off for this PC. And then we'll have new PCs sorted by Monday. GPU is the only thing that won't be new. when it comes to that. Because that hasn't been sorted yet. I guess I didn't uninstall I thought I did. Alright, see ya. Enjoy Slep. I'm not entirely sure how long I'm gonna run tonight. We could just plain do two hours, and I can eat at midnight, shower, and work on commission stuff. And everything's fine and dandy. I don't know how much longer I have in Deponia Doomsday is part of the problem. I should get rid of a few files on my G drive, though, just for the sake of... I don't know. It's got nearly 100 gigabytes left, but it's only 100 gigabytes. I know why it's eaten up so much. It's because of that Halo mod that Tebra and I were going to do. Because it, for some reason, was 62 gigabytes, despite the fact that it's should just install a few files to combine us into one body. It's like it downloaded all of Halo 1 all over again. So we'll play it by ear. Yeah, my fucking phone is dying right now. Actually, I should just shut it off, and then we should see about, cleaning it right now. Because I could probably get up under the back of the case right here, and then we can freaking see what we can get ourselves into. And maybe you figure out what's, like, causing it to overheat so heavily. It could just be that it's old. I don't remember how long I've had this phone, to be honest. I'm thinking old phone was the one that I had while I was still with... one. That would mean that old phone was still being used in 2018, I believe. I don't know how long I've had this phone, to be honest. Can I remove the back plate here? Like, am I capable of doing this? I don't need to remove the screen, but I'm seeing something in the separation here that makes me want to investigate it. Let me make sure that there's not like a screw or something that's holding on the back plate. Heat the phone to loosen the adhesive. Believe me, it has definitely done that on its own already. Where's my... Where's my kit? Because I had a set of tools. The same one. Does give me an excuse to bust this out. If I had to guess, I would assume that I put the older kit over as part of my like setup for PC repair stuff. But let's do a little bit of we do it live repair kind of deal. Or at least investigation on this. Try not to hit the on button while I'm doing this, because I really don't want this turning on while I'm trying to freaking pull this apart. That is some very sticky adhesive, though. Come on. What are you sticking to right now? There we go. Hey, Angora, how you been doing? Good to see you again. There we go. I normally wind up popping in the Discord when everyone's like asleep and whatnot, so I haven't exactly been the most active. What are we looking at here? Yeah, that doesn't look like there's anything in particular off about it. Also, shout out to the freaking battery placement. Oh, so we're all dealing with tech issues. Good to know. Ba. Heavy usage background apps, even charging practice address this. Consider reducing screen brightness, optimizing battery usage, ensuring proper charging habits. If the problem persists, it may be necessary to investigate app usage. Consider factory reset or seek professional help. Okay. Someone fucking signed this. Someone was very proud of their work on that. Also, I really hope that all these little bits and bobs are unimportant bits and bobs. I think that they're all just freaking... Let's see here. It's normally on this side that it's overheating, but I have no idea what's exactly over on this side that should be causing that. Because all the technical stuff is over on the side of the volume button and whatnot. But the heat is on the power button side. I don't know what's causing the problem. There's not like any major dust buildup or anything in there. I really need to clean this stick. I'll be right back. I don't know. Just age, I guess. I mean, Christ, I don't, like I said, I don't know what freaking... We have a date on when I got this. About phone. I don't think it tells me. Factory data reset, none. That's not helpful, really. Oh, not like I can afford a replacement anyway. What's in this? What is this? Is this just a freaking... Oh! Ooh! A modular screwdriver set, I like that. And it's held together with magnets, that's cool. It's fine. We're shifting computers soon anyway. These wires can be chewed on. We're aiming for a Monday on at least the majority of, you know, the PC problems to be sorted out. We'll still be using the same GPU, but everything else should be good by then. Probably jinxing myself, but I did get a warranty on the power supply. So if it doesn't arrive, I should be able to easily get a replacement. So I'm going to, for once, break my policy that I've had with this PC of don't actually say I have thing until it's in my hands, specifically for this. Will I regret it? I hope not. I don't want to... I don't want to figure out firsthand what set of circumstances lead to me regretting breaking my policy on this in particular. Will it get delayed? Possibly. It's possible, but a delay is much easier to deal with than just the whole thing getting nicked again. I just really wish that, you know, Plan A had gone smoothly. And then Plan B, I wish had also gone smoothly. I really wish we weren't on Plan C. Which makes me feel guilty every single time someone gets me something, because I'm just like... I really shouldn't have had to ask for this level of generosity. But here we are. And hopefully everything gets sorted out. I've kind of done the majority of what I wanted to yap about tonight. I kind of just wanted to, like, make up for it being too hot for Tuhu Tuesday to a certain degree. Partially because Tuhu Tuesday flows into Wednesday anyway, because of the hours that I stream. So it works out. But, you know. I also like to have a distraction, so that I'm not feeling as hungry while I'm waiting for the time that I normally eat. But I'm hoping that Deponia, what we have left, isn't too terribly long. Because I don't want to have a 12-hour stream to try and make it to where I'm not in the middle of a game when transferring computers, especially considering it's on the drive that is being the problem child currently. And is still being a problem child because I was trying to update a demo, which was basically Eldritch Stardew, which was very fun, I should say. I played it for like 6 hours. It's called Welcome to Elderfield. It was very fun. But trying to update it, it kept giving me disk write errors, which is part of why I also stopped doing it's also why I stopped doing Helldivers, why I uninstalled it, because it kept disk write erroring. I do have a few games that I might just kind of uninstall that are on my G drive. Specifically for the sake of the fact that the sheer amount of space that is being taken up currently. I have Skyrim and Skyrim Special Edition still marked as installed? What? I thought I uninstalled those because I came to the conclusion that I was probably not going to continue. Special Edition, I think I might have been on the fence about, specifically because, what's it called? Yeah, Skyrim Special Edition I do still have installed. I don't have Skyrim Standard in there, though, which is confusing. Legacy of the Dragonborn. Because I didn't want to have to restart Legacy of the Dragonborn. But I don't know. I haven't returned to it, and our Elder Scrolls arc was last year. Actually, I think it was a year ago at this point. No, 28th is when we finished Skyrim. Or, well, not 28th, but somewhere around there. Can I see my achievement? My last achievement? No. I could probably see it in Dragon Slayer, September 26th. I did play exactly once after that. After my big Elder Scrolls marathon arc. where I really, really felt the age on Arena and Daggerfall, especially due to how, like, the later dungeons were for each of those, where they were rough. And some of them were very buggy. But we killed a meme that day. We no longer have a 0 completion rate on Skyrim, despite a, what is it, 22 start rate? 26 start rate, somewhere around there. We have 1 completion rate. And honestly, like, that's all you need. I have a lot of freaking demo files that are still on my freaking G drive for some reason. I guess I do still have Dead Space 2 and Dead Space installed. Interesting. I didn't know that. Thought I uninstalled them once I finished them. Yeah, that's 12 gigabytes on that one. Uh-oh. Exception. What? Integer overflow. For what? What are you? Are you the uninstaller for Dead Space 2? Hey Hertz, how you doing tonight? Okay, I guess that was the uninstaller for Dead Space 2 that was bugging out on that. How do you integer overflow a uninstaller? Not half bad. A long-term goal that we've been working on since December is finally actually coming to fruition, despite being on Plan C and several rough patches. And I'm not dying of heat currently, so. A new PC, because this one has been on its last leg for since somewhere in December. We have effectively, hey, thanks for the follow. We have effectively monthly cascade failures. A lot of games that I wind up playing wind up having problems. I finally solved the problem of OBS taking up 50% of my CPU on its own, but it is normally taking up about a quarter. So, what we're currently waiting on is a power supply that'll be coming in on Friday, hopefully. And then I've been gifted several other parts. My current specs, I don't know the exact numbers on everything. Freaking... It's a refurbished i7 on the current. A 1060. I don't even remember the model of the motherboard. Also, hey Ray, how you doing tonight? 32 gigabytes of RAM, DDR4. freaking too many terabytes of storage. My big freaking 4GB, or my 4 TB storage unit is dying on its own. Like I've been saying, we finally are basically... No, just a standard 1060. This computer is a decade old. Almost a decade old. I built it in 2016, but... yeah, it is... definitely, it is rough. Our upgrade wound up being, marginal instead of extreme due to the original PC that, a friend was scrounging together, got stolen on the way here. That was plan B. Plan A wound up getting thrown into the dumpster due to tariffs, increasing the overall price by 50%. Plan B got stolen. So we're on Plan C currently. Yeah. I was unfortunate enough to be born American in that regard. I have no idea what the current status is on tariffs, but freaking... I do remember that when we originally had Plan A have to be shifted around, it was due to tariff problems. I mean, in general, that freaking Plan A was already rough because people didn't want to do their fucking jobs. And then once the tariffs got added onto it, it was... we basically had to shift plans, just in general. It was not gonna fucking work. And then, like I said, Plan B made it to... I can never remember which Carolina it was. I think it was North Carolina. Disappeared off the map. Thanks for the posture. And then we were like, hey, where the fuck did it go? And they're like, oh, we found the box and the label. Which means that it's probably someone that had freaking access to, you know, the overarching thing. That was part of it. It's probably why we never actually got a follow-up from that. And the insurance company doesn't want to pay out more than $300 at this point. That's dog shit. Yeah, that's the thing. We should get a refund. But the insurance company that was covering it doesn't want to freaking actually pay. Yeah, that's what Nami's doing, is I think she's suing them. She's not settling for the $300 because it's bullshit. But unfortunately, due to... I don't know the exact price on it, but... Hey Andrew, how you doing tonight? But as far as I know, it was somewhere in the ballpark of $1,500. And they're trying to pay out $300 for that. Which is bullshit. Less than a fifth, or about a fifth of it. Probably less than a fifth if you count in, you know, shipping costs, freaking tax X, Y, and Z. That was involved. Actually, it wouldn't have been tax, but... Well, tax on the parts, but still. The point is that... Yippee American insurance company... Yeah, that's exactly why... We're freaking saying, hey, we're not accepting 300. That's bullshit. Even if the person that stole it sells at a massive loss as far as what the parts are worth, they're gonna get more than you're offering us for the thing getting fucking stolen while you guys are supposed to be keeping an eye on it. I mean, I think that part of it... Yeah. I think that part of their quote-unquote reasoning is because... Oh, they're still doing an investigation. So we can't technically pay it out. They might find it. The investigation's been going on for 3 months. The only way that you're going to be finding any more than the case and maybe storage unit is if they're using it for their own personal freaking PC at this point. Secondly, how the fuck did it happen in the first place? I don't have any faith in you. You somehow let someone walk out of your warehouse with a whole ass tower. This tower wasn't put into anything or anything. It wasn't just in a box. They just walked out with the tower. None of your cameras caught that? No one freaking saw anything or anything? I don't have any faith in you guys finding this shit at that point. That's the thing. Nobody I've talked to has any idea how it happens. Aside from the answer of, it's DHL. We expect them to be fucking worthless. Yeah. DHL. Anything freaking bigger than a bread box and they're fucking worthless. The only person I know of that has had any positive things is Frosty, who has never had one of her Fumos stolen from them. Or stolen by them. Which is, you know, out of like 20 people I've talked to, like a 5% rate of, they're not complete dog shit. That's a massive failure on that. But yeah, fucking... So we're on plan C. Which is, get things passable. Since I need it for work. Plan D is, not something I can say on Twitch. Because at that point, the gods themselves have forsaken me. There is... I don't know what else to fucking do. But... I have no idea what happens in order to cause a Plan D. I have a case, thanks to my uncle finally bringing that in. I have RAM. That works with the motherboard that Desktop gave. I have a CPU, courtesy of Desktop. I have the power supply coming in, and I'm just going to, until I get a new GPU, move the 1060 from my current rig over to the new rig. And hopefully, we're in a passable state. And maybe I'll hear some good news from Nami at some point, and we get our original Plan B. We're never going to hear from Plan A. Nah, another friend of mine was going to grab me a 5060, I think is what it was. I don't remember which of the 50 models, but they're like, I only really need a 20 series for the primary thing that I want the upgrade for, which is it to be compatible with graphics rendering. But they're like, hey, it's literally only 10 extra bucks for me to get you a 50. And I'm like, alright. My 1060 is 6 gigabytes of VRAM. Oh yeah, I'm not, I mean, with the whole rig as it is currently, I'm not running ray tracing anyway. I don't like ray tracing anyway, really. The amount of impact that it tends to have for most games not having a massive increase. I don't see much point in it, which though does mean that like something like Monster Hunter's kind of out of the question, because if I remember correctly, Monster Hunter is one of the games that has forced ray tracing on. My only hope is that I don't get one of the first generations that have a 30% chance to just melt. Because apparently the first wave of 50 series had a high chance of melting. I knew 3 different people that had them melt inside their PCs. Which is a terrifying thought. Switch to Team Red? What? Oh, switch to Team Red. I thought you meant like the... I thought that you meant like the Switch 2 as in freaking the console. I'm like... Why? Why would I switch to? I'm not opposed to AMD, honestly. I mean, I switched to AMD on CPU because A, it's cheaper for about the same level of quality anyway. And B, Intel likes to freaking pull an Apple and just be like, hey, we're gonna expand chip into this, so if you go up one, now you have to get a whole new motherboard, which is where we wound up with where we're at right now, is the only way for me to get an upgrade from my current thing was to swap out the motherboards. Whole plan was just go. Just freaking ground up build. I mean, yeah. It took them how many years to fix the... I don't remember which generation it was, but the problem where their multi-core processors for an entire generation would just put everything onto a single core until it burned out and then move to the next one, leading to a lot of their CPUs, if they were being used for anything significant, cooking in less than a year. I think AMD's like what most people freaking swear by anyway for CPU these days, just because of Intel just throwing shit at the wall and then not realizing until months later why no one's done that before. Or just plain releasing faulty products like the aforementioned entire generation of CPUs that just killed themselves. Because they didn't spread out their freaking processing like they were supposed to. I don't remember if it was due to them not spreading out the processing, or if it was that there was a fault with how it spread the power that it got. I don't know what my CPU that we went with was off the top of my head. Can I actually freaking... Oh, because I hit T twice. But we went with a little bit on a budget this time around. A little bit more on a budget, especially because I didn't want anyone spending more money on this than they already had, because we reached most of our goals originally with Plan A. And now I feel bad anytime someone's, like, especially desktop. Anytime desktop's like, oh, let me send you money, let me send you this part, let me do whatnot. I'm like, you were, like, in second place on the amount of money that you spent on Plan A. I really don't want you having to spend more, dude. Desktops win XP. A friend who has been an absolute godsend, and at this point is the only reason why we have what we have currently. Because he got the motherboard that we're going to use, he got the CPU that we're going to use, he sent me money earlier for the PSU that we're going to use. And I keep telling him, I really wish that he didn't have to, like, he doesn't have to, but he chooses to. I just kind of feel bad every time, like, because, like I said, we're on Plan C, and I don't want people to have to spend more because some asshole decided to just nick an entire PC and got away with it 3 months ago. And no one wants to actually take accountability for it. Yeah, I have no idea, like, how. I mean, again, things point to it being someone higher up that did it, which is insane, even further. But, like, the fact he was just able to remove the record of it off of their tracking. Because the tracking number just disappeared. It just came back as an error. The only reason they knew it existed is because he just... Or she. I don't know. I'm just freaking defaulting, but, like... I don't even know if it was, like, just a standard worker. Because, like I said, it got erased from the system. The only reason they knew is because they found the label on the box still that it was being shipped in. And the number on the label matched the number we had. That would be so funny in such a pathetic way. But I don't know. And since they're quote-unquote launching an investigation that has had 0 updates in 3 months, but they're still investigating, so they're not willing to freaking say, okay, we give up, blah, blah, blah. So the insurance is like, it's still under investigation, they could still find it. This is all we can offer. And it's just backed up all the way through, and it's such dog shit, dude. And it doesn't help that, you know, just a bunch of stuff's been happening IRL, so it's just adds on to everything. I guess that's also IRL. It's not like it's just internet exclusive. It's not like, you know, I got into a spat with someone on the internet or something and then I compare it to IRL. Like, it's a physical object that was in transit that was stolen. This is just it's just flat out an IRL thing. I don't know. Such a pain in the ass. All it is. Like, I can't help but laugh at the absurdity of, like, how the series of events happened. At them just letting someone walk out with an entire tower. Because the image in my head is hilarious and stupid. Doesn't make it any less frustrating, but it is hilarious in the dumbest way possible. Either way. I don't know if there's anyone I want to raid into. It is about midnight. Yeah. Tomorrow's plan is Deponia Doomsday. We're hopefully going to finish that up. Because power supply is supposed to come in on Friday. And then hopefully by Monday, I'll be running the new rig. And then at least I have one less little bit of stress. There's always going to be that lingering bit of... Hopefully at some point Nami gets a... We got our full setup back. Or we got the money for the new setup, the full setup back, and, like... We're back on plan B. But... At the very least, I'm not going to have, hopefully, persistent cascade failures and half of my CPU being taken up by base running programs and whatnot. Hopefully. Who is this person? Am I following you? I am following you. You're doing some art. I only really raid into art when I'm doing art. Which was the original plan for Thursday, but... change that out. But I'm going to eat, shower, and then work on the commission because I can't stream the commission. Let us see if there's anyone of note in... Omi's doing some... You're also playing a game, but you're just chatting. Chatting. Can I raid into Mekon? Mekon tends to... I don't know what her freaking baseline is set to, is the problem. But she got a bunch of hate raids at one point, so she freaking upped what is required to freaking raid and then set, like, a bunch of parameters and whatnot. Are we able to raid? No. We are mutuals, Twitch. Let me raid my friend. Alright, we'll flip a coin. Because there's two people that I'm looking at. Neither of them are actually just chatting. But they are in the just chatting category. We'll raid into some art. They're in just chatting, but they are doing art. And another bane of my existence solely because... How do I increase ear size from what they already have? This goes against everything I work with. I can't increase beyond this. Either way. That's gonna be for me tonight. I've already gone through everything. There's the socials. You can join the Discord, follow me on Blue Sky, or follow me on Twitter in order to keep up to date on things such as when I go live, what I'm going live with, and art like you see in the corner, and like I'll be working on off stream. Tomorrow, hopefully finishing Deponia, so that I'm not transferring PCs while in the middle of a game. Behave yourselves, you know the rules. If you make a fool out of yourself or out of me, then we don't deal with you anymore. That being said, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the follows, raids, all that good jazz, and I will see you guys tomorrow if all goes to plan and I'm not dying of heat stroke. Love y'all. Bye.